Oh, hi, didn't see you there. Only kidding. they're all laughing. They dared me to say that. But yeah, if you've just joined me from over on the Paint It Beautiful Facebook group, where they're celebrating this week 30,000 members in Paint It Beautiful. Now, it's a group that's particularly for people who love to paint with Fusion mineral paint. And I was over there telling them about this product, which I've got to go find the bottle now. Here it is, Ultra Grip. I need to put a little bit more in my jar. So we were using Ultra Grip to add on this super shiny, glossy surface. So you'll be able to see that live over there in the Paint It Beautiful group. You can check it out when I finish with this. And over there, I explain all the times that all the reasons why you would want to use Ultra Grip on a piece, but mainly, as the name suggests, it gives you ultra grip. So you can see I'm painting it on this really super slick surface, and then the Fusion mineral paint is going to stick super well to that. Now, I started also painting it on the live over in Paint It Beautiful. Oh, did I tell you they've got a competition going on there? So because they've reached 30,000 members for their group, Paint It Beautiful is having a competition, and they're going to announce it tomorrow. So please jump over there tomorrow and you'll get to see, if you paint with Fusion, you're going to love this competition. If not, buy some stuff. So you can get it here in Australia from iRestore Stuff over on my website. We ship Australia-wide. So Fusion, you will be needing to paint some Fusion pieces, enter the competition, but it's one of Paint It Beautiful's biggest competition giveaways to date. So yeah, you will want to get on board with that. So I talked all about Ultra Grip, what it is, what it's used for, and it actually basically is, like the name suggests, helps to adhere the paint to your surface. Now, I didn't sand this piece very well. I just wanted to give it a very light scuff sand so that it would key the surface and give a little bit more grip. So the more, whoops, I've got some paint on there, which doesn't matter because I'm going to be painting with that in a minute. As you can see, we started painting this on the Paint It Beautiful site, and this is the colour Seaside. Such a gorgeous, beautiful blue. Look at that. And you can see it's drying already, so I'll point that bit out because as it dries, you can see the colour changing. So I painted this side first, went across this way. You'll see that the colour will start to darken when you start painting it. If you're watching here, please tell me where you're tuning in from, and that'll be great. And we're going to do some painting. Yes, Amber?
Got a few questions already.
Got a few questions already. Awesome.
So Helena wants to know, did you sand it?
Did I sand it? I sanded just a tiny bit using my Sandy Hands glove on certain surfaces. Let me just turn around this part here. Here's my glove. You can get these at iRestore Stuff in Australia or in UK, Europe, they're selling them. You cannot get them in America though, or Canada. But it's just Velcroed on any grits you like. I used probably a 240, something that's not going to scratch it too much. Let me just flip and turn this around. So I've painted just now, and you can see that Ultra Grip dries clear. So it's all pretty much dried up here. Now, usually, so don't tell anyone I'm doing this, but usually you don't want to paint on top of Ultra Grip until you've let it dry for 12 hours. So that's what you should be doing. But today, we're just going to speed things up a bit. Am I going to knock anything over if I just go like this? Amber? Okay. We're swinging it around here so the camera can see this side. I don't want to put my hands over there because the paint's still drying. Oops. Okay, we just missed it. That's great. Also, if you're painting on things like a raw wood surface, you don't need Ultra Grip. If you're painting on most surfaces, you actually don't need the Ultra Grip. But just sleek, glossy surfaces. Here's another example, is this laminate, which I showed on the live over on Paint It Beautiful here. If you're painting on laminate, there's a high chance that that's just going to scratch off. So if you use the Fusion's Ultra Grip first as the first layer, then paint over it. Once that's dried, you'll have a much better chance of it sticking. And you can use it on glass, laminate, plastic. Yes, Amber, you've got a question.
So Kristen was tuned in on your other feed.
Yes.
And heard you mention glaze.
Yes.
She always uses Tough Coat, so she wants to know what's better.
Ah, okay. So Tough Coat's going to probably dry a bit quicker. Glaze, you have a lot more open time, which means working time. So you're able to use, and I find that the glaze, yeah, it just, there is a little bit of a difference. Tough Coat, if you want, the glaze isn't meant to be like a top coat sealer because you're mixing it in with the paint, but it's still pretty good to finish the product like that. But if it was going to be on a surface that you're using a lot, got a lot of hard wearing, I suggest going over the glaze with a Tough Coat wipe-on poly. But the glaze, yeah, so is it Kristen? Kristen, do you mix your paint colours in with the Tough Coat to use similar to how I'd use a glaze, I'm guessing? Because with the clear glaze, you mix it in with, say, a metallic or another colour paint, and we can give other things just a really lovely finish. I've painted over that side. I'm going to start painting on here, and we'll just talk a little bit about brush strokes and how to avoid them. So I could be using a roller on this, but again, you're not going to get up into those crevices. So I'm using a lovely wide Stelmeister flat brush. This is a number 20. You can get these at iRestore Stuff if you're in Australia, or check for your Fusion Mineral Paint stockist, your nearest one. Amber can pop a link to my website in the comments so you can see where you can go there. I've got a blog. I actually blog over at iRestore Stuff and have some great examples of furniture makeovers, hopefully to inspire you there. Look how great that coverage is. So some of these darker colours of Fusion Mineral Paint, we actually had a vote over on the Paint It Beautiful page. I had a bunch of colours for people to choose from, and everybody chose Seaside out of those darker options that I gave them. See, I'm painting at about a 45-degree angle here. And that's what you want to get. And you don't want to smush it in like this. You shouldn't be squishing it because otherwise you'll get brush strokes. Just nice, long, even strokes. And we do have some pointed brushes, which I was showing over on the other live, that you can use to get into these little crevices here. Oh, now I've started. I usually finish one thing. Do you switch and change, or do you finish one thing before you start another? This has got really, really good coverage. You can see it's covered really well there, but I usually find that I still like to go over with one final coat, just for good measure, just in case there's any little shadows peeping through of the wood that's underneath. Can you guess that one of the other reasons I wanted to go with a dark colour is because we're working with such a dark wood. And if I was going over this in white, it would take several coats. That would be with any paint, really. But depending on the pigments in the paint. If you see over here, I've got a white coffee table that we were painting. That's actually, we've got 3 coats. Amber was helping me paint that. Thanks, Amber. And we've actually got 3 coats of Fusion's casement on there. Actually, we did a transition colour to start with. We used, I think it was sterling, one of those light greys, to just transition from the dark colour to the white. And you can find that you will use less paint that way. All right, so now we're working on these intricate bits. Now this is where I was suggesting that we put a glaze on. After this is all dried and said and done, those little crevices will just really be brilliant with highlights. I think we had a few suggestions over on the Paint It Beautiful live, but tell me what glaze, or what would you mix with clear glaze to add to this gorgeous finish here? In the comments, just leave your comments and say what colour, metallics, or would you choose a dark like ash or black to add into a clear glaze? And Amber will let me know what you decide, and I might pick one of your suggestions because I think this would look lovely with those highlighted details. You don't have to use a glaze. You could use something like a wax. We've got some lovely dark wax. We've actually got in the Fusion range some beautiful metallic waxes. There's pearl. There's also a liming wax, which is like a white wax to give you that beachy look. So that would create a lovely look as well. And let me know where you're tuning in from if you haven't already. I'd love to know where people are watching from. If you're in Australia, you can get any of the Fusion products at irestorestuff.com. And what have we got, Amber? Any questions yet? Oops.
No, she wishes she could convince her husband to paint with the tip and not smash the brush. So
Oh,
I reckon
really?
you should try and convince her husband right now.
Okay, I'll convince her husband right now. So what is he doing? Is he smashing the brush into the paint, into the... Dear husband, don't do that. Tell him right now he needs to just lay the paint on. So here we go, laying the paint on. It's hard to show you in these little crevice bits, but even in there, you're just sort of laying it on, because if you smush it and drag it, you're going to get lots of brush strokes. Husband, just tell him that. All right. What's the weather like where you're watching from? It's a bit overcast here in Brisbane, Queensland. We've got some nice, I saw lots of 4th of July pictures from family. Hi family, if you're watching. My sister-in-law's in North Carolina, and it's beautiful, sunny and summery over there. There we go. We'll even get into those underneath bits, because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to painting all of the bits and not wanting to miss any. Even getting those underneath bits where no one is going to see. But I know that it's not done. Is anyone else like that? Give me a wave if you're a bit like that. Okay, so look at this. The Ultra Grip has dried already. Looks great. I did want to have a look at the top, but I can't get up there. Do I need a stool or a chair or something? But can I just lift it down?
It'd be funnier if you did a stool.
It would be funnier if I did a stool. Right. My husband's always up for a bit of a laugh. But well, you've got to get up too, because I want you to shoot down on there, because there's some little dings up here that I want some suggestions on what you would do to help fix those things. Okay, so just watch the edges. Okay, beautiful. Right, so tell me, oh expert woodworking varnishy people, what would you do here? Because we're up to sort of doing the top. Now I haven't ultra gripped the top here yet. I've ultra gripped here, but that is still not dry enough for my liking to be able to paint over it, so we'll wait on that. But if you can see, oh hang on, camera guy's got to pick up his camera so we can actually have a top view of this. It's got like little dings and ditches, and I just don't know what to do about that. So I'm thinking it either should be probably sanded all back or maybe filled. So yeah, we've got a little issue there, and I actually have, and I'm going to have to go read over my notes, I do have a blog post on how to tell what kind of wood, what kind of finish or surface you're working with, and it's over on my blog. I don't know if Amber will be able to find it right now, but if you search in the little search bar, wood finishes, and you'll see a 3-part series that I did with my friend Julie Henderson. Hi Julie, if you're watching. It was such an awesome, in-depth 3-part series on wood finishes. And she went through how you can find out whether your finish is a shellac. This is obviously not, because shellac is really much more, I mean, there are still people using it today, but usually you'll find it on older antique pieces. Or whether your finish is varnish or lacquer or any of those things. Now this piece, I get this feeling that it's one of those Balinese kind of pieces. I don't know if I can open the drawers here. You can kind of tell by it, just the make and the finish of it and the type of wood that's been used. Now if you go back to the live that I just did on Paint It Beautiful, I explain all about the tannins and the risk of bleed through when sometimes you're using these almost mahogany stains. Sometimes orange pine will stain and bleed through your white pieces. It can even bleed through on the darker pieces. It's the tannins in the wood or the stain that are coming up through your paint. So to prevent that, the only thing that I've come across that would fix that would be the Zinsser primer sealer, and it has to say stain blocker. That's a shellac-based varnish that will stop and prevent that from happening. Anyway, back to my wood finish here. So I'm going to do a little bit of research, find out what that is on the surface, because it's quite dingy, and I have a feeling, you know, if I just painted straight over that it would actually show up on the surface. Can you see those little dings there? You got a close up there, maybe? Anyway, yeah, it would probably show up through the painted surface, so we don't want that. Did you find that blog post at all, Amber? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's posted that in there. There's actually 3 parts, so just have a look through. You posted all 3. 3 cheers for Amber. She needs some hearts right now, people. Ding those hearts for Amber. And for Tori, who's doing camera for me today, one of the cameras, and for Marty, and for Eric back there in the studio. It's all happening here, people. And so I'm going to just keep finishing, doing my research on this, looking up those blog posts, and I will have a look at the different answers that we got for what kind of glaze to put on this. So stay tuned. If you have not subscribed to my blog yet, please go over to irestorestuff.com, hit the little subscribe area. You just have to fill in your email and you'll get regular newsletter. I blog about once a week, so I'm not very spammy. But also, if you're in Australia, I do send you product updates, and when we have sales or specials on Fusion or Miss Mustard Seeds milk paint, Sandy Hands gloves, Klingon brushes, stencils, all of the things. So yeah, go subscribe to my blog. Love you to do that. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.